We'll see. I'm not going to mince words about this one. I really was not a fan at all. I started saying that on the last episode, as a matter of fact. I don't think that the caliber of filmmaking that's met here is on the same level as the first film. I think it's way too scattershot. It's too loose with the cult aspects to the point where it's kind of just, again, it feels like a hangout. It feels like a bunch of people who are just making up their own dialogue, and it's free flowing. And if that's the type of movie you want to make, clearly it was. Good for you, I guess. But for me, it was just droning on and on and on. And throwing in Betsy Brown and Peter Vack doesn't really tighten things up. It doesn't keep the viewer invested just because you have a recognizable face in the mix of this harem of just randos. What did you think, Michael?
All right, so I think that the first, I would say, 2 hours are absolutely abysmal. I hated the first 2 hours. There was some like interesting moments with the cold, but I thought the first 2 hours were when they're all in that basement, where I don't even want to use the word disgusting because there's a lot of more disgusting shit in this, but like it was just so fucking boring, and
Mhm.
it really does not, it really is not entertaining until like Ivy Wolf gets into the film and she
100%.
leaves the
Ivy
cult.
Woke is single-handedly saving this movie from itself, from the pure indulgence of not wanting to strip any of it down, to just keep these scenes going on and on and on, and thinking that all of it just makes for some greater immersion. But it doesn't at all, because many of these actors, they're not really taking it. You can tell that they're not taking it seriously. They're not fully committed. They're not fully invested in their dialogue. They're half-assing it. And Ivy comes in and steals the show,
Yes.
grabs hold of the movie, is much more charismatic and funny and charming than really anybody else you see in the film, which is by design, I guess, but still true nonetheless. And actually, I have said before, when Ivy there's kind of like this oversaturation of Ivy now in big commercial projects where she's popping up in Friendship. She popped up in The Code. She's
Honora.
probably going to be in that Rachel Sennott series. Yeah, she was in Honora, Best Picture winner. This is probably Ivy at her best that I've seen, is
I
playing a
agree.
character.
And she was a great character. Her character is someone who was formerly non-binary, convincing this person, the main character circle of this film, to detransition.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go into something real quick. I think that if you want to talk about like the art or the symbolism of this film, I think that, and this is like kind of, I don't want to say insulting, but I think that maybe this film is trying to say that like being in certain aspects of the LGBTQ community can seem like a cult,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a very like groupthink ideology. And myself being bisexual, I would say that during high school and now college, like there is a certain, like in with young LGBTQ people, it is a very groupthink kind of group of people, and it's weird. Like, cause like when I was like young, people like just hated me because I was like bisexual and I would like use certain words, or I wouldn't act certain ways. I wouldn't want to. It was like, I think that this film's trying to actually
You would use
communicate
certain
that.
words. What would you say, like
Uh,
slay when you were 14 years old?
No, I would say like, oh no, I would say like it was shit that like was very incorrect, politically incorrect, and they would hate it. And or I would be like, gay people shouldn't get married. Like I was just like saying shit like that. And they were like, yo, like fuck you, you hate yourself. And I'm like, no, like I just like fuck all that. Like you guys are just weird and you want everybody to act the same. And like gay men have this obsession with sounding like black women. And I was like, fuck all that. Like, I'm a fucking dude and I'm gonna look like a dude. Like, you guys are weird as fuck. I think this film's like low key trying to communicate that,
Mm.
like in a way. And I just don't think it's done good, but I think it's trying to talk about something here in a very interesting manner. But it's the execution, at least for the first part, is pretty bad, but then it picks up pace like through the middle and towards the end.
That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like you've probably touched onto something there, and really, it's hard to say what the thought behind any of this is because it winds up being veering on so incoherent due to excess.
Yeah.
I can't drop the excess of what this movie provides. I mean, between the first, I mean, unlike the first installment where you have a clear division point of, okay, we're going to focus on the presumably straight male character here at the beginning who's getting negged by his girlfriend, winds up sabotaging that relationship. And then we cut over to Traps and that whole lifestyle. It's much more uh, one straight line, start to finish, comparably, because you have this cult element in play throughout the entire duration. What did you think about the change up in handling the narrative?
I think it was just very sloppy, and it just like the first part is so slow and boring. It's just like, and again with like the people looking into the camera and the lines all being fucking every single shot is like over 3 minutes of people just ad libbing shit, and it's like I get it, like they're a cult. It's and then the fucking AI person that runs the cult, it was like it just was so sloppily done. Like
Mm-hmm.
the what who's supposed to be the villain, and like there's no, it's not even
Have
explained enough like what
Michael,
the fuck they're even doing.
have
It's
you
I don't know.
seen www.rachelormont.com?
No.
Okay. The AI component of the cult to me felt a little too inspired by an element of the Rachel Ormont movie, because there's this character named Poor Spiga who's actually like an Instagram personality. But for the sake of the Rachel Ormont movie, it is this AI friend that the corporation gives Rachel Ormont. And I thought Louise Weird was probably a little too driven to replicate the sort of success that that movie created, and maybe borrowed that, whether intentionally or not. I don't think that's too far off the reservation of thought, given that both Peter Vack and Betsy Brown are in this movie. Peter Vack plays somebody who detransitioned, who
Yes.
tried to be a trans, and then detransitioned because he feared what he would look like as an old woman.
That's so good. That was funny. That shit was funny.
I enjoyed his small part in this movie, but also if I'm Peter Vack, I don't know, I'd probably be a little more selective of the roles I'm taking. It feels like he will take any acting role thrown at him if the director of the piece is female or trans. That's what I've gotten over like the last
Yeah.
year and a half. If you're female or trans, he will act in your movie.
I think he was great in it, and he was funny, and it was a funny scene, and
Oh no,
fucking
I
like
don't
it
have
was
anything
good.
negative to say about his performance. I would just say be more selective of your, like, I don't think he brings the movie down. If anything, he brings the movie up. I don't think he's ever brought a movie down, but that's just the trend I've noticed last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about him, but I think he should shine and find other. He doesn't need to be doing indie stuff like this if he's gonna act that good in this movie. But I don't know much about him and all that. But who is the blonde girl you're saying? What the fuck was her name?
Betsy
uh,
Brown,
but yeah, she was good.
that's
I don't
his
know much about
sister.
her.
She is the lead of Rachel Ormont. She's a director herself. She did a movie called Actors with Peter in it, where Peter goes trans for the sake of his acting career.
Mm.
Um, and it was received poorly by the trans community. They claimed it was a transphobic film. Specifically, Jane Schoenbrunn led that whole campaign against them.
That makes me like it, and I haven't even seen it. I don't
Right. Yeah, yeah,
know.
yeah. So that, I mean, but that was kind of the response is, okay, well, now you made it seem like this edgy, provocative piece of art. I have to see it now. And the thing with these two films, Actors and Rachel Ormont, is they would do pop-up screenings, they would tour it around a little bit, and it was impossible to watch online, which is honestly the way you should be doing this if you don't have a serious budget behind you and infrastructure to make sure that there's going to be some money back and you're protected from losing your the totality of your investment in your movie.
Hmm.
So for the longest time, there was this big air of mystery around actors and then around Rachel Ormont until they both premiered. And they're both like edgelord films, but I don't think that they're especially edgy. You can definitely find edgier comedy.
Yeah, because there's like, yeah, you can be any right now. I think you can be any like political ideology as a person or filmmaker or whatever, and you can put any humor in your movie and nobody cares. You just have to find a way to like artistically make it a part of the story, and people kind of don't fucking
I think
care
we've
now.
taken a
I don't know.
step back, though. I would say that would be absolutely the case, bulletproof, if it was like January 2025.